Buongiorno, benvenute a tutte e a tutti. Benvenuti alla Fondazione Sandrettore Baudengo, anche se, come dire, in versione virtuale. Saluto e ringrazio di cuore il nostro ospite, Ragnar Kjartansson. Buongiorno, benvenuto. Grazie per essere qui con noi. Siamo qui per l'evento finale del progetto I Speak Contemporary nell'ambito del progetto Diderot realizzato dalla Fondazione CRT di Torino. Io do subito e con grande piacere la parola alla nostra Presidente Patrizia Sandrettore Baudengo e poi a seguire al Segretario Generale della Fondazione CRT Massimo Lapucci per il saluto istituzionale. Grazie mille e poi quindi iniziamo insieme questa mattinata. Grazie.
Buongiorno a tutte e a tutti. Good morning everyone. Welcome to all the students and the teachers who are here today. Welcome to Massimo Lapucci, Secretary General of Fondazione CRT, that since many years brings to life the project Diderot, of which our project I Speak Contemporary is part. The main aim is to offer to students of all the primary and secondary schools in Piemonte and Valle d'Aosta the opportunity to take part in free learning experiences about different subjects, from mathematics to science, from music to art. Thank you so much, Massimo Lapucci, for your essential support and for your precious friendship. And thank you for making the Fondazione Sandrettore Baudengo an integral part of Progetto Diderot. I'm glad to give the warmest welcome to Ragnar Kjartansson, who kindly accepted our invitation to join us today. Thank you, Ragnar. So happy to see you. Ragnar is an amazing artist, one of the most acclaimed at international level, and to me a dear friend. His works are part of the Fondazione Sandrettore Baudengo collection, and in 2012 we had the pleasure of hosting his live concert inside the Fondazione's exhibition space, a very special and emotional moment for all of us. The work behind Rocky Mountains has been part of I Speak Contemporary for many years, and it's certainly one of the most appreciated and loved works, especially by the children and the teenagers who joined the project, and some of which are here today. So, welcome Ragnar, we are really excited to have you. I also want to thank Lilja Gunnarsdottir for being so helpful for the organization of this event. Thanks to the Fondazione Education Department and to Gabriella Dallago, Ilaria Mercurio, and Elisa Rugolo, the mediators who work with the schools on Ragnar Kjartansson's artwork over these years. And a big thanks to Laura Copaglio, Daniela Tornielli, and everyone at Fondazione CRT for their trust and support. Now, Francesca Toni will make a brief introduction, and then we can start receiving the questions that the students have prepared, and we can't wait to hear Ragnar's answers. So, thank you again to Ragnar, thank you again to Massimo Lapucci and Fondazione CRT, and to all of you, enjoy the event.
Grazie Patrizia. Passiamo la parola al segretario generale della Fondazione CRT, Massimo Lapucci. Grazie.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Patrizia. First of all, thank you very much for the commitment and passion you put into your foundation every day to promote contemporary art, not only in Turin, but also in Italy and around the world. And I big welcome to all you students, our protagonists of the last edition of I Speak Contemporary. This training path of Fondazione CRT Diderot project is truly contemporary, engaging and innovative. And Fondazione Sandretto and Patrizia allowed you to experience art through the English language and direct dialogue with important artists such as Ragnar Kjartansson, who I welcome and thank also on behalf of Fondazione CRT. This year, 7,000 of you had this wonderful opportunity. We are very grateful for this. You have learned to grasp the meaning of an artistic piece or work, and then also the thoughts of those who created it. These new skills enrich, I'm sure of this, your toolbox today, providing you with useful keys to interpreting a reality as complex as the one we are living. So good luck to all of you for the end of the school, and thank you very much again.
Grazie di cuore a lei e a tutta la Fondazione CRT per il sostegno che non ci fa mai mancare per il progetto di Dero. Davvero grazie. Benissimo, allora non rubo altro tempo, dico solo due cose molto veloci, introduttive, perché non vediamo l'ora ovviamente di ascoltare la voce di Ragnar Kjartansson, il nostro ospite. Io dico solo che le studentesse e gli studenti che sono qui con noi collegati stamattina hanno fatto un percorso che è durato tutto l'anno scolastico e lo hanno fatto con le mie colleghe Ilaria Mercurio, Elisa Rugolo e Gabriella Dal Lago, che sono le persone che hanno non solo condotto le attività con le scuole, ma anche creato tutti i materiali utilizzati durante il progetto, e quindi le vogliamo ancora ringraziare davvero tanto per il loro lavoro e per la loro passione. E inizio chiedendo appunto alla scuola IC Venaria 2 di Venaria, vicino Torino, la classe terza F, la prima domanda che deve essere letta da Davide Orlando. Davide, ci sei?
Hello, Ragnar.
Andiamo? Perfetto. Eccoti, grazie.
What inspired you to become an artist, and what do you like more about your job?
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a grand onore. Un grand onore. Grazie mille. And congratulations, Italy, with winning Eurovision. And but what inspired me to become an artist was I think I went to art school because I wanted to learn to be a musician, a pop star. And I was always so interested in music. And then I was, then I looked at that like so many musicians from Europe, especially, came from art school. So therefore I went to art school, and because I wanted to be a pop star. But in art school, I learned that there's so much more freedom in visual art than music, and you can sort of, I think there is hardly any, what do you call it, field you work in which is as much freedom to do whatever you want to, because visual art has this ridiculous thing that you say like, I have decided this is a work of art, and you can just decide that as an artist, and maybe this is not a very good work of art, but I can say, and it is a work of art. And I really like that freedom. It's so much, it's actually so much fun to be a visual artist. I think that's slowly I started to decide that, and kind of started working on music inside visual art more. And what I like most about my job, I think it's always being kind of surrounded by fun people and fun ideas, and like looking at other people's art, I think. Because like art for me is constantly exciting, be it visual art, be it books, be it music, movies. it's like when you're an artist, you become so interested in the world. I think it's kind of, it turns on some antenna, and it's really fun to yeah, it's just really fun to do artworks. That's a very basic answer, I think.
Thanks.
Ok, grazie Ragnar, grazie mille. Dunque c'è la seconda domanda. La scuola della chiesa di Vogogna, vicino Venaria, e la classe seconda A. Deve essere letta da Iris Alcioni, scusami. Iris
Dai, prova tu adesso, tocca a te.
Good morning, Kjartansson. What a dream did you have when you were a child?
I had a lot of daydreams, and I remember I had the dream of becoming a policeman or a priest, and then I always had this dream. I wanted to go to the past. I always thought I could go to the past. And I always thought that when I get older, I can go back into the past. I was always thinking about going back in time. That was kind of my constant fantasy when I was a child. And but I also had I think I had dreams of becoming an artist. I think I always really liked the idea of you know, when you go to a museum and think about the people who created the works, and but I think also one of my main dreams when I was a kid was to work in theater. My parents were actors and worked in the theater, and I just always really liked the magic of theater. To be backstage with people in costumes, with drinking coffee and having a laugh. I just thought it was so fascinating. Mainly I thought always, yeah. And then I just dreamed of love. I think mostly I dreamed of, you know, of falling in love when I would get older.
Ok, bellissimo, grazie. Ok, la terza domanda, ok, dalla scuola dell'ICI Corte Emilia Saliceto di Monesiglio, in provincia di Cuneo. La domanda deve essere letta da Annalisa Garabello.
How do you choose the title of your work?
How do I choose the title of my work?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Anna. It's Annalisa, right? Yeah, thank you, Annalisa. Often it's a very hard, because I think the title of the work is so important when you're doing an art piece. I often make something and then think about it, you know, really, the title always usually comes after I make the work. And I always know that the title is so important. The title almost is the key to the work, both for the viewer and also for me as an artist to kind of finish it. And very often I just think about it, search for something within the piece. Sometimes I write a little bit about what I just did. And like, you know, for example, here is like a painting I finished. It's a weird little painting of a campfire by a rock. I have no idea what it's called, but I look at it and think about the title, and then I often think, then really good stuff to find titles is to read poetry books. So I read a lot of poetry books, and sometimes I just gaze through them to find a sentence, a word, something that and then becomes a title. So it is a very good question, because it's really, it's almost like the heart of what I do. It's like when the work has a title, it exists in the world. And sometimes I've given works titles that are not good, and then the work is I may be very happy with the work, but the work is kind of stuck with a bad title, and that really sucks. And so sometimes I've changed the title after, though I have, premiered the work. I've changed the title. So books, and listen to like stuff that's said around me, and then just think. And sometimes ding, the title comes. And very often I look through my album collection also and find titles just from, songs and albums I have in my record collection.
Ok, grazie Ragnar. La prossima domanda abbiamo il liceo Gobetti di Torino, la quinta C, e Matteo Magliano legge la domanda.
Hi, it's a pleasure for us to meet you. So, you managed to bring art through music. Why do you think art and music can be the best way to convey emotions?
I mean, it's just, it's just there. It's like my great grandmother. She was like a wanderer, like here in Iceland. She would just, work, kind of wander through the country and work in different farms, and was like a kind of a poor wandering woman or a rover. But she wrote a love song, which like now everybody in the country here knows, and it was just through music that like I still feel her emotions. It's really interesting. Like I know kind of just from that little song she wrote like in the 1840s, and she never wrote it or realized it. She just sang that poem to somebody, and then somebody sang that poem to another one, and that poem lived. But it was never published or anything. And I feel her emotions still through that little song she wrote. And I think music and art in general is just so amazing to kind of to tell an emotional truth. And I don't know, it's sort of, we use kind of philosophy or technology to deal with other kinds of truth. But the emotional, it's always like, like a good song is just such a crazy way to convey emotions. It's like I just the other day I was just listening to, do you know that song Driver's License? I don't remember what she's called, the singer. And it's just, a very kind of sentimental pop song, but it's so good. It's just like really crazy good. And I was driving and it just like got me. And then it was like, I really felt the emotion of some American teenage girl singing that song. But, maybe even, although it was very produced and everything. And also like art, you think about with artworks, it's sometimes crazy how much emotions they they project onto you. It's like you look at a painting. I mean, you can just look at it online. You just don't need to stand in front of the painting, but just like look at the painting by, for example, Edvard Munch, the Norwegian painter, you know, who died. He mostly painted around the year 1900. His most famous painting is called The Scream. And his works are so crazy emotional. It's just, you look at them and you just, you know, feel something exploding in your heart. And I also feel so much like that with pieces, you know, like the American artist Agnes Martin. She just makes these very simple paintings that are just forms, but they are kind of crazy emotional and beautiful. You look at them and you just kind of feel her heart. And that is the part, I think in many ways that is the power of art, because it both holds like the intellectual and philosophical, and then it just has this emotional ability to kind of touch us. And I mean, it is like I just in the beginning said the story of my great grandmother. Like, you know, when you just think about something by an artist who lived many years ago, like, and it still touches you. There's like an Italian painter who's called Rosalba Carrera. She lived in Venice in the 18th century. And I look at her works and I feel her emotions. She's like long dead. She's just, you know, a skeleton in the ground. And I still feel her emotions when I look at her paintings. But maybe this didn't really answer the question. It's really hard to say why they are the best. But it is just, you know, it just sort of is. It's sort of a very natural human thing to do art, to express yourself. I mean, you know that yourselves. I mean, we are all artists. We are all, you know, we sometimes just like kind of feel this kind of artistic urge to draw something or, you know, sing something or, you know, create a rap song or something about how we feel, you know, about ourselves and the world around us.
Ok, grazie mille. Grazie. Allora, adesso abbiamo la terza E dell'IC Peyron di Torino e la domanda la legge Atna Kulmiye.
About your artwork, Bonjour, what will happen if the loop stops?
Yeah, in Bonjour, what happens if the loop stops? Oh, that's a very good question. It's just like, you know, because I mean, what would happen is that, you know, if the actors were constantly performing the work, it's a work called Bonjour, where there are two actors just constantly just saying bonjour to each other and doing little actions around it. And they do it for months. It's a piece that was shown in Bologna, the Mambo, last year. What would happen is that, like, you know, suddenly everything would become real, because they are performing this and they are pretending to be somebody. And if they stop doing the loop, then kind of reality comes, and the magic of theater is like poof, gone. And you know, sometimes that just happens. You know, sometimes you know, they are doing these performative loops, and you know, maybe there is like an alarm in the museum or something, and the actors just have to stop and go. Or something like, or somebody suddenly feels sick, then they have to stop and go, and then just boom, the illusion is gone. I think that's what happens, and I also sort of like that when you're like creating an illusion and it stops, and we are reminded that theater is also reality. Thank you.
Fantastico, grazie. Dico una cosa di servizio, velocissima. Ci chiedono se si potrà vedere il video che non siamo riusciti a vedere prima. Lo mandiamo, sì, alla fine delle domande. Finiamo le domande e poi lo mandiamo. Perché Ragnar, le scuole ci tengono molto che tu veda questo elaborato, ok? Oppure possiamo mandarlo anche adesso. Chiedo alle mie colleghe se è possibile.
Great. I'm really excited to see this video.
Chiedo alle mie colleghe se è possibile vederlo adesso o se aspettiamo la fine delle domande.
Possiamo farlo vedere adesso. Lo mando?
Direi di sì. Proviamo.
Art. Art. Times. At times. At times is art. Times. Art. At times. Art. At times. Art. At times is art. Art at times. Art. At times. At times. Art. At times takes us elsewhere. Takes us far away. Art at times takes us far away.
Wow! That was
Cosa ne
amazing.
pensi, Ragnar?
Grazie mille. I'm so crazy honored.
Anche noi siamo onorati che tu sia qui con noi, Ragnar. Questi sono i lavori che hanno fatto i bambini delle scuole primarie che hanno partecipato al progetto e appunto hanno creato un nuovo The End. Dopo The End Venice e The End Rocky Mountain, c'è The End con tanti posti diversi vicino Torino, fuori Torino, la regione, Piemonte, Valle d'Aosta. Ok.
Wow.
Beh, quindi è un omaggio a te, Ragnar.
It's just fantastic, and please send it to me so I can look at it in my old age and be happy.
Certo, te lo mandiamo. Grazie. Allora andiamo avanti con le domande. Ok, allora adesso abbiamo l'IC di Cortesia Saniceto, provincia di Cuneo, e la domanda alla legge era Luca Florea.
Are you so much passionate for art to always find new inspirations, or are there moments when you feel demotivated?
One more time.
Puoi ripetere?
Are you so much passionate for art to always find new inspirations, or are there moments when you feel demotivated?
Oh, thank you for the question. Yes, I often feel demotivated. I mean, it is like, maybe I always kind of find new inspirations, but sometimes you're just like sad and maybe a bit demotivated, and you know it yourselves. It's just like, be it art or be it homework. Sometimes it's just like, oh, can't do it. but there's always but I always find the that when there's not inspiration and kind of things are a bit dead in my brain, then also my subconsciousness is creating something new. So I've started to learn to appreciate that, that when I am uninspired, then I know something new is brewing in the subconsciousness. So in a way, I've started to learn to appreciate it when I am demotivated. But you know, so I think you need the demotivation to be inspired. It's like a weird, it's a balance, sort of. It's like you know, you need to be hungry to cook, and you know, so that there's like this. There's the joy when the inspiration comes, and that is like the kick. But I think it's yeah, that's my answer, I think.
Grazie mille. Allora andiamo avanti con il liceo Vercelli di Asti, la terza A, e la domanda la legge Emma Berruti.
What influence has the pandemic had on your artistic production?
Yeah, wow. I think the pandemic has the question was like what influence has the pandemic had on my artistic production? I mean, in a way, the main influence is that I've just been at home. You know, I've not been traveling. I have not been, you know, here on my island in the middle of the Atlantic for so long, since I was a kid, I think. And I think that has had it hasn't changed much the artistic production, but maybe I just have more time to do art. But I really like the traveling part, of course. So, but I have also used the kind of the tranquility of the pandemic to also kind of just like reprogram myself or something, because I think I was going too fast as a person. Like, you know, it's this classic thing to, you know, you need to be able to sit under a tree. And I kind of was not sitting under a tree, but the pandemic has made me be able to sit under a tree. And so I think the pandemic has changed more my kind of emotional, my personal view to life than the artistic thing. And then that of course will seep into the art. And I mean, we have all felt it, that it kind of it has profoundly changed our worldview. And I mean, I don't feel, I think you guys, it's like way harder for you guys to be, you know, young in school, and, you know, you're supposed to like be with your friends and have fun. I'm just like a middle-aged guy that can just be at my home. But, you know, for you guys, this has been a really tough ride. And total respect to you for hanging in there. It sucks being your age and not having parties.
Grazie Ragnar per le tue parole di incoraggiamento e di vicinanza. Allora, io so che adesso c'è la domanda della quinta Q del Liceo Berti di Torino, ma confermatemi, la domanda la leggo io, giusto? O alla fine c'è qualcuno di questa classe?
Professoressa Susa, se si
leggo io?
vuole. Aspetta un attimo, Franci.
Solo un istante.
Professoressa Susa, se accende il microfono.
Se ci siete, manifestatevi. Altrimenti vado io.
Vai tu, Franci.
Ok, allora ho l'onore di farti io questa domanda, Ragnar. How do you see your future as an artist?
I think I think this question really kind of echoes the question from before, what influence has the pandemic had on my artist production. I think like this time was like made you think about the future. You know, what are you going to be? I mainly now I think the pandemic has made me like really focus on my future as just a father, you know, to my 2 daughters and husband, rather than my future as an artist. I kind of put that like that kind of focus on like, okay, I'm gonna try my best to be a good father. I think that's what the pandemic has really made me aware of. And I think with that, I think my future as an artist is pretty bright. Because it's weird that the art goddess, she really likes it when you kind of follow the path of love. Then I think art really flourishes. So because there's always this myth in the art world, you know, that you have to kind of, you know, not think about others, only think about yourself. And that really, and I think that makes the art suffer. But if you kind of try to live a life in love, I think art will flourish. And that's how I see the future of myself as an artist. And I hope I will, you know, it's because it's also like a weird thing to have this, you know, I mean, I'm like 45 years old. It's really almost like a crossroad into becoming, you know, a proper, you know, an older person. And I hope I will just be a kind of elegant old artist rather than like a bitter old pervert.
Ci sono forse delle domande in più, delle domande di riserva. Allora, se ci sono le classi disponibili, io andrei avanti, proseguirei con le altre domande. Sono ancora altre 3 domande, Ragnar, se hai ancora un po' di tempo per noi.
Me? Yeah, of course, yes.
Ok. Allora, let's go on with the questions. Allora, c'è la terza F dell'IC Venaria, di Venaria Reale.
Hello.
Siete con Davide e Orlando.
What is the performance that you enjoyed the most in the making? Why?
Yeah, what was the performance I enjoyed the most in the making and why? It's like all the performances I make are almost like they're almost like a way to kind of have fun with my friends, and it's very hard to put finger on, you know, which one was the most fun, because like all of them have their you know, it's like a beautiful moments in life. And you know, because we were talking about the end, both the end works, the end Rocky Mountains and the end Venice, they were so much, you know, they were weird. Like the end Rocky Mountains was like ridiculous fun to make. I was with this friend of mine, musician David Thor Jonsson, and we were just having a laugh, being out there in the frost, you know, playing guitar, and it was just all so ridiculous and funny and exciting. Yeah, I really remember that fondly. It was a kind of a magical moment in our life and friendship. And then also like the paintings, the end Venezia, they were like, that was a lot of fun because we were just there in this palazzo for half a year together, me and my friend Palli. But that was much more melancholic though. We were really like, because the piece was so much about like being depressed. And we sort of were that. So the, maybe the single most kind of crazy fun I had with making a piece was this piece called, it's a piece I did called World Light, but I was like with a big group of friends in Vienna, and we were like trying to make a film of my favorite novel, and it was just mayhem and hilarious, and you know, kind of just like a dream.
Ok, grazie. Allora, un'altra domanda viene dalla classe seconda dell'IC Corte Emilia di Saliceto, Corte Emilia Saliceto di Monesiglio, e c'è Annalisa Garabello ancora con noi.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start an artistic career?
What advice would I give to someone who wants to start an artistic career? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the main advice is just to be interested in art, I think, in like the art of, I mean, in your own voice, but also like the art of others, and kind of be excited about art and kind of take part in all kinds of, you know, artist-run spaces, and then also like to go, to create a band, create like a gallery show, you know, like make a gallery in your school, or just have fun with it, because I think it's really important in art. It does not matter what you can do, it matters what you do. And you just have to do and then soak stuff in and just like love the art that is being created all around you and has been created before in history. And then you are going to have a blast as an artist, because I think it's important to I also choose to be an artist because I somehow knew that there was never going to be a career in it. I decided, like, you know, I want to be an artist because I want to live in this idea of the artistic. And I always knew that, like, you know, I will probably have to have a work on the side as an artist. But the cool thing about, you know, about art is that, you know, you can always just like be an artist, but, you know, like have a day job, etc. So I really just decided that, like, I'm going to be I'm going to go to art school and learn to be an artist, and then I'm just going to do that as a kind of as my passion, but probably I have to have other ways to make a living. And I think that gave me a lot of freedom also. Now, never to think of, like, you know, I want to be an artist and I'm going to have a career as an artist and sell artworks, etc. So I never thought about my artworks as something that needs to be sold or something. It's just like, I just want to make this. And I think that thought of just, you know, to be an artist for the hell of it and for the fun of it gives you so much freedom. And then you can weirdly, but then also like then also like the career kind of takes off when you're just totally free. Then you're doing something interesting, I think, because it is a very mysterious thing, this art thing, that it kind of can't be too serious. Like, I never look at myself as a professional artist. I somehow just think of it as a coincidence that I'm actually doing it full time. But I'm always just like, okay, then, you know, like, you know, then I'm always kind of ready to become an art teacher next year, or or find myself a proper job next year. Because also the funny part is like when you're an artist, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that is not being an artist. So it's almost similar. Like when I had a day job and was an artist on the side, when I'm a full-time artist, I almost feel the same because I'm like doing a lot of administration and stuff, and then kind of in between I'm doing art. But the main advice is it doesn't matter what you can do, it matters what you do. And just listen to your guts and just do it. And kind of like with this kind of punk rock attitude, it's just because your voice really matters. And you just gotta kind of be, you just gotta start that crazy idea in your head that what you say matters. It's almost like on the verge of being insane. When you think like, what I do really matters, and I have to make an artwork of it and show it to others. Yeah.
Dei consigli molto molto belli, grazie Ragnar. Ultima, last question, l'ultima domanda. La terza è dell'IC Peiron di Torino e di nuovo abbiamo Adna Kulmije.
Allora, what feeling did you have while reciting your performance? What feeling did you have while reciting your performance?
Very various feelings. It's like, sometimes I'm doing my performance and I'm really in it and feeling it, but sometimes I'm just thinking about, sandwiches and something very mundane. Although I'm like in some crazy costume doing something crazy, I'm just thinking about, I'm thinking about my uncle that he needs to get himself a bicycle or something. So there's a lot of feelings that you go through when you're doing a performance, and they are all. But the interesting part is when you do a performance like I do, when I create a situation and I'm just in it, I'm not actually in real life. I'm like it's almost like it's very close to the idea of of meditation, or like doing the rosary, or or this kind of thing, that you somehow are like detached from the world. But when you're kind of in a spiritual state and detached from the world, you maybe are just thinking about sandwiches. But sometimes the feelings is really good and happy and fantastic when I'm performing. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, that always comes again and again. I think that's like almost like like what makes me want to do it. It's like this kick you get out of it. It's really makes me happy.
Grazie Ragnar, rende felice anche a noi poterle vedere, le tue performance. Allora, ultima cosa, rubiamo ancora 5 minuti, Ragnar, del tuo tempo. Alcune delle scuole che hanno partecipato al progetto hanno anche mandato dei piccoli video, brevi video, per farti le domande. Questi video raccolgono le domande fatte in un modo originale, interattivo. Sono le stesse domande che ti hanno già fatto, ma ti volevamo fare vedere come ce le hanno presentate, e quindi ti facciamo vedere questi piccoli video. Sono tutti ispirati a delle tue opere. E c'è una musica originale. La musica è originale, la musica è stata composta da alcuni studenti apposta per questo video.
It was gorgeous. Wow.
Grazie. Ce n'è un altro ancora? La musica c'è sempre, Ragnar. La cosa che è piaciuta di più, una delle cose che sono piaciute di più del tuo lavoro, delle tue opere, è questo grande legame che tu hai con la musica, con la performance, con il suono, e il fatto che coinvolgi tante persone, l'amicizia, sono tutti temi che hanno toccato tantissimo le scuole che hanno partecipato e le hanno ispirate per realizzare questi video. Ce ne sono ancora due, davvero brevi, piccoli. Ve li facciamo vedere. Non so se hai sentito Ragnar, che c'era sempre il saluto iniziale, bonjour, e poi si scriveva la domanda alla lavagna. Ok. E l'ultimo?
Ragnar, can you repeat?
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 Ragnar,
can you repeat?
Ok, questi erano alcuni video dedicati, ispirati al tuo lavoro e con le domande appunto per te. Musica, ripetizione, performance, citazioni, c'erano tante cose, tutte insomma nate proprio dallo studio, dall'incontro di questi ragazzi e ragazze con le tue opere. E ci faceva tanto piacere condividerle con te.
It was totally amazing, and and you know, and that you guys have all given these works so much thought and your time and consideration. I'm really touched, and for these videos and the drawings and the very insightful questions, I'm really touched. It's really like, it's funny, like these questions that you asked me, they're really like, they're almost like the deep questions I'm constantly asking myself. And, you know, and then it's hard to answer them because they are like, you know, this is really important stuff for me. So I'm just totally thrilled by this, by what you've, what you've given to me this morning, guys. I'm like, respect.
Grazie Ragnar, è quello che tu hai dato a noi, è quello che tu hai dato a noi con le tue opere, col tuo lavoro, con il tuo modo di essere, che è anche una delle cose che hanno affascinato tanto le scuole e tutti quelli che hanno partecipato a questo progetto. E anche noi siamo molto molto felici, siamo commossi, è stato un momento bellissimo che abbiamo potuto condividere con te. Ed è davvero il coronamento di un anno di lavoro, un anno che è stato strano perché abbiamo lavorato sempre così come siamo adesso, su Zoom, quindi sempre distanti, mentre di solito lavoriamo insieme nella stessa stanza, stiamo vicini e condividiamo di più. Però siamo molto felici di capire, di sapere che anche con questa distanza possiamo comunque toccarci in qualche modo, possiamo sentirci comunque vicini e possiamo condividere dei pensieri, delle emozioni e farlo con una persona come te, con un artista come te, non è una cosa che succede tutti i giorni. Quindi ti ringraziamo di cuore, Ragnar, grazie mille. Grazie, ringrazio tutte le scuole, tutti gli studenti, tutte le persone che hanno collaborato a questo progetto, tutto il Dipartimento Educativo della Fondazione, la Fondazione CRT, Patrizia, Sandretta, che anche era molto molto felice che tu potessi essere con noi. E grazie a te, Ragnar.
Ecco, Francesca, I just want to say a big thank you to Ragnar. So I'm so happy to see Ragnar, to have Ragnar with us. So you are always fantastic, the best. Grazie, grazie di cuore, Ragnar, for your time, for being with us, for all what you are doing and you will do. So bravo, bravo, bravo.
Grazie, grazie, grazie. I think I should, you know, end this because I was mentioning I think I'm going to end this with, I have to make a fool of myself. I think that's important. So I'm going to sing for you the song. It's a tiny little song that my that my the song I was talking about, which my great-great-great-grandmother wrote.
That's what we were hoping for, but we didn't. We didn't dare to tell you, but we were hoping for that.
Okay, the song is it's of course a love song, you know. And it says like, my eyes, your eyes, what beautiful stones. Mine was yours and yours was mine. You know what I mean. It's a long time since I saw him. He sure was beautiful. Everything what you want in a man, he had it. You are my greatest misery. I'm like under the burden of wounds. Oh, I wish I had never seen you. Okay, I'm gonna sing the song. Augun mín og augun þín, ó þá fögru steina, mitt var þitt og þitt var mitt. Þú veist hvað ég meina. Langt síðan sá ég hann, sannlega fríður var hann. Allt sem prýða má einn mann, mest af líðnum var hann. Þig ég trega mann, mætt af táraflóði, ó að við hefðum aldrei sést, elsku vinurinn góði. Grazie.
Bravissimo.
Che bello.
Grazie Ragnar, fantastico. Grazie davvero.
So thank you again, and please come to visit us soon, as much soon as you can. We are waiting for you here in Torino.
I will come.
Oh, this is good. Good.
Grazie, grazie.
Grazie Ragnar, thank you so much.
To all your family too. Your daughters, your wife, to all of them. Eh?
Yes.
Okay.
To your family too.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao Ragnar, grazie.
Goodbye, lots of love.
Ciao.
Thank you.
A presto.
Bye.
Ciao. Grazie mille.
Bye. Bye.
It's another performance. How long will that last? Okay. Si è spento? Non c'è più, Ragnar. Non c'è più. Ok, va bene.
È andato.
È andato, ciao. Va bene, allora è stato bellissimo, grazie davvero di cuore a tutte le scuole che sono rimaste collegate fino alla fine. Qualcuno ha dovuto giustamente, insomma, andare via un pochino prima, però insomma è stato un bel momento, è stata una bella mattinata. Noi siamo davvero contenti di aver potuto avere Ragnar Kjartansson con noi. Lo avete visto nei video, lo avevate visto, insomma, conosciuto nel progetto, e poi eccolo qui con noi stamattina. Ho apprezzato tantissimo il vostro lavoro, le vostre domande, e quindi, come dire, quale modo migliore per concludere il progetto di quest'anno? Noi vi ringraziamo davvero di cuore e speriamo di rivedervi il prossimo anno scolastico e un grande abbraccio, un grande saluto a tutti.
Grazie mille a
presto.
tutti.
Ciao, grazie.
Arrivederci a tutti, grazie.
Arrivederci.
Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie mille. Buon
Grazie
lavoro,
a voi.
A voi. Arrivederci.
Grazie.